Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all of you, dear family and friends. You are most welcome. I'm very glad to be with you at this moment. And also, let me take this opportunity to thank you for being part of this movement and revolution in our mother continent, Africa, by sharing our videos, by liking our videos, and also by being part of ideas, by sharing your thoughts through the comment section. Dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans, today we are going to focus on an interview made by Captain Ibrahim Traore in Russia. In that interview, Captain Ibrahim Traore asked the US General Langley to come out in public and apologize to Africans for giving false information. Also, Captain Ibrahim Traore went far and asking why black people are always being used by imperialists and other people who want to destabilize or destroy African people. So this must come to stop. And here is what Captain Ibrahim Traore has said.
And the part that hurt me the most. Not because it is general or because it's one American or what. It's because it's one black. And it hurts a lot to see that we use one black to fight one black.
Yes, that is the statement made by Captain Ibrahim Traore during his interview. But all in all, you heard Captain Ibrahim Traore asking Mr. Langley to come out and apologize to Africans. One thing that paining Captain Ibrahim Traore, not only Captain Ibrahim Traore, we many Africans, is this: why black people are being used to destroy fellow black people. Recently, you saw white people in South Africa welcomed in America by Trump. But here in Africa, it's black people who is planning to destroy fellow black people. You see Trump welcoming fellow white people in South Africa to United States of America. But here in the continent of Africa, you find Africans, black people, ready to make sure that his fellow, his brother or sister, black people is going to suffer. This must come to an end. And you heard in this story or in this interview, Captain Ibrahim Traore accused the Ivorian Prime Minister. And you remember that it's not a Prime Minister, Ivorian Foreign Minister, who went around the world to tell the world or this powerful nation that don't sell weapons to Cote d'Ivoire, to Burkina Faso or to Alliance of Sahel States. So just a fellow in these countries are neighboring countries. Cote d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso are neighboring countries. But you find Cote d'Ivoire being used by imperialists to destroy fellow nation or brotherly nation, Burkina Faso. And we have seen also this foreign minister of Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire with General Langley. And later on, we saw for the coup. You can see how we Africans, black people, I think we need, as Africans, young people, Africans around the globe, to come together to tell you these black people, fellow black people, and these regimes that are ready to work for the imperialists. Also, I think in solidarity with Captain Ibrahim Traore, the Eritrean president has announced the banning of all opposition parties, claiming that Western colonial forces, including General Langley, are exploiting them to take control and plunder the country's resources. He ordered the expulsion of all individuals cooperating with Langley, including Langley himself. He recently rejected the U.S. food aid to his country, claiming that his country was not suffering from hunger. So you can see that General Langley, now African leaders started to recognize what fellow black people are doing. They send people like us, black people like me, to manipulate our people. And that's why I have been saying this many times, that these political parties in our mother continent, Africa, are being used by the Western power. They have been sponsored, they have been given money, and sometimes taking some young people to train them in order after election to go into streets and start fighting. And through our fighting, this Western power or these colonial powers are getting resources. So Africans, we need to wake up. And I said this many times, We young people, we are the ones who are being used. It's not old men and women who are going to fight. It's not old men and women who are going in the streets to protest. It's we young people who are being used by these colonial powers. I think we need to educate one another. We need to make sure that we liberate ourselves but through maybe education. And of course, we need to have our own education system, because this education system that we have right now is the education system that is producing people like Mr. Langley, who see fellow black people like he's no reason to be here. But you see white people, one thing that I love from white people, despite their manipulating us, is their unity. Look, as I said, look what Trump is doing right now, protecting white South Africans, welcoming them to United States of America. Can Africans do like that? Right now we are struggling to push ourselves that let us welcome our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, but we want a good people, not like Langley, because sometimes you can welcome people who are like Langley, who will come and try to plant our resources. But all in all, I know we have so many good people in the diaspora, and those are our relatives. Those are our brothers and sisters. We want them. We want to welcome them. The way Trump is bringing them, you saw during Ukraine war and Russia, Ukrainians were taken to America. But right now we have war in Congo, in Sudan. What have we done to support our children in Sudan? What have we done to support our mothers and elders in Sudan? We are keeping silent. We are keeping silent. And that is where I saw division among us. That's where I saw manipulation among ourselves. Let us now go on with Captain Ibrahim Traore's speech. This is just like some updates from Eritrea. But let us go on with Captain Ibrahim Traore.
Do people know that when France tested its first atomic bomb, it was black soldiers they placed nearby in the blast radius to see what would happen? Let's bring out the archives. Everything they've used against Africa is terrible. So all of this needs to be communicated so that young Africans understand, because there are still many who are asleep and continue to speak on behalf of the imperialists. Whatever they're told to say, they do it. Maybe it's because, well, they're given something, I don't know. But Africans need to understand their history and wake up. So that's our fight as well. My biggest regret is having spent a good part of my youth listening to radio stations like RFI and France 24. I've been in countries where those radio stations were shut down. But we would use apps to record their news broadcasts so we could listen. But at some point, something clicked. I started to realize that they were conditioning our minds to accept what they wanted. It's their narrative that they want us to learn. And since then, I've started to see things for what they are. And I understood that what they're doing is very dangerous. And today, more than ever, I realize that they have conditioned the minds, especially of Africans. So you can play a big role in awakening the consciousness of young people so that people understand how the world works. Today, the terrorists use drones to fight and everything. So these are professionals from certain countries who come to teach them all of this. All of this is to keep us in a state of insecurity. But we are aware of the situation. We adapt each time to their methods of operation, and we will continue the fight until we have recovered the entirety of the Sahel. So all the countries that are fighting today for their more economic independence, we are trying to collaborate better with these countries because it is a form of oppression by imperialism. It is necessary for those who are oppressed to unite in order to confront this hegemony. So we are moving forward gradually.
This is paining and this is terrible, dear lovely family. And thanks to Captain Ibrahim Traore for awakening all of us, the people of Africa, for telling us the truth. And this truth must be shared to all of us, the people of Africa. In this section, Captain Ibrahim Traore has spoken many things, but I will touch only 3 things. Number 1, I will touch the issue of African history or Africa's history, and also the issue of manipulation and how we are being manipulated, and also the issue of unity. So let us start with the issue of Africa's history. As Captain Traore said, many of us, we don't know our history. We don't know our history because many of our books today that we learn maybe our history are written from our colonial masters. If you are colonized by France, your history written in Paris. If you are colonized by United Kingdom, your history written in London. So you can see, and that's why even our books are in English or in French or in Portuguese, not in our native languages. It's only Bible that is translated to all these native languages, because in my homeland I found a Bible in indigenous language, but they cannot teach you the history in your indigenous language. Why? Because they know that if you know the history, you will become strong. Because our history is the history that shown that Africans were strong since then. Africans were creators. Africans were innovators. If you look back to the Mali Empire, if you go to the pyramids, how Africans built pyramids at that time, you can see the technology. The war in Monomotapa Kingdom in Zimbabwe, Benin War, you can see how Africans were engineers, Africans were innovators. Africans invent many medicine that till today, if you go to rural areas, people are still using. Africans recognize that these leaves can treat many diseases. Roots of plants were used to treat people. But because we don't know our history, that's why today we are suffering. So I think it is very important for we young people to start learning our history. Of course, this is a wake-up call to all of us. What Captain Ibrahim Traore is doing is to awakening Africans. Thanks to him. Another part is the issue of manipulation. Dear lovely family, friends, as you know, manipulation is a tool that is used to divide people. We are divided within our nations. Also, continentally, we are divided, and that's why we have these small countries. Then inside of our countries, we are also divided. We are manipulated. And all this is to make sure that we Africans, we are always at war, so that we cannot come together and thinking about how we can add value to our resources. So if you saw this conflict, it is engineered. And because of lack of education or without understanding our history, that's why it is very easy for we young people to be part of this conflict. And I was saying this many times, and I will continue to say, we young people, Africans, we must stop being used by imperialists, by colonizers, by Africans. You know, when we say colonizers or imperialists, we don't mean white people. Even Africans are colonizers, Africans are imperialists. We have such kind of people in this continent. So we must stop working to those people. They use young people to fight their battles. And good example is in Sudan. 2 generals misunderstanding each other. They mobilize young people in different parts, then bring them to fight. So young people, we need to wake up. I'm very happy that the young people in Burkina and many places in the continent have started to awakening. We are tired. You know, we young people, we want development. We want economic freedom. So how can we attain development that we desire economic freedom while we are busy fighting each other. Because during this fighting, we distract infrastructures. We distract everything. Right now, Sudan, I don't know how Sudan will recover. I don't know. Things have been destroyed totally, completely. Things destroyed. But it's young people like me and you who participating to distract and destroy our countries, our nation, for the interest of these colonial leaders. I think the time has come. Young people, wake up. We don't need to come into fighting. If we cannot live in peace, let us not cause conflict and cause trouble to others. I think the time has come, dear lovely family, friends, to understand that manipulation is there. We are being manipulated in order for us to fight. And that's why you see, as Captain Ibrahim Traore said, these terrorists right now, they have drones. So who is supplying drones to them? We may ask, and for what purpose? So you see how these people, they don't want stability. We know no any African country that manufacturing these military drones. Many of our innovators are trying to build these small drones, camera drones. But these military drones that can lead coordinates and many things like that are not manufactured in Africa. But these terrorists they have, who is supplying to them? We need to wake up. We need to wake up. And lastly, Captain Traore has said the issue of unity. This is very, very important. Family, friends, Africans. Our salvation is our unity. No one is going to tell us to unite because our unity is a threat to exploit us. So the way and any time when we say we want to unite through this current leadership, we will not succeed. It needs all of us, young people. The way we raise our voices to support Captain Ibrahim Traore, we need also to raise voices that we need to unite. We need to come together. Of course, people are already united. What we lack is political wills. And of course, we don't need political wills. We need revolutionary will. That from now and then, Africans, you are free to do business in Kigali, you are free to do business in Kampala, in Dodoma, in Ouagadougou, as long as you pay taxes, as long as you pay maybe fees for starting businesses. There's no need for us to restrict each other from moving from one place to another. Africans, leaders, current leadership, they are working for imperialists. They are working for imperialists. Not all, some of them. And that's why you heard about Cote d'Ivoire. We need to raise our voice to tell the leadership in Cote d'Ivoire that you are disappointing Africans. Let us not afraid to tell the leaders in Cote d'Ivoire what you are doing is not right. You are not going to be a leader forever. Generation will come. So if you destroy Africa, what about the coming generation? So we need to tell leaders in Cote d'Ivoire, how can you go out and telling these nations that don't help or don't support Burkina Faso, don't support Mali, don't support Niger? How can you say like that? While we see Europeans came together, united, supported Ukraine. But where is our Ubuntu? So young people, Africans, we need to raise our voice to tell leadership in Cote d'Ivoire that you are messing us. You are disappointing us. What you are doing is not right. And also we need to tell all black people who are working for other people to destroy our mother continent, Africa. We are tired. We want unity. We want to work together. We want to see Africans manufacturing cars. So how can we manufacture cars while we have Africans who are betraying us when we are starting to plan? And that's why yesterday I shared the video of President Paul Kagame. He said very clearly that African leaders are not ready to implement ideas, to to implement what they have agreed. So it means they fear to implement because they have already signed agreement with bad people. They want Africa to continue to be under control. These people have stolen money from us, kept in Europe, in highlands, so they fear to implement because they have money there. And these people, if you mess up to them, they expose you. And that's why you see leaders, these corrupt leaders, they fear to implement. And that's why I said, even this continental free trade area, with these leaders that we have, some of them, we are not going to achieve. I'm telling you the truth. We will be here. The time will come when you will say, my brothers, you have told us the truth. This, what we call Africa Agenda 2063, will remain in books and articles because I don't see political wills. I don't see revolutionary wills from our leaders to start implementing. We have been talking about energy, the issue of energy. We have Ingadam. We have nuclears in uranium in Niger, in Namibia. But I didn't hear anything from our leaders talking about how are we going to implement Inga projects? How are we going to start building nuclear power plants to supply energy to the entire continent of Africa? But if you hear, we hear from our leaders are talking about democracy, this human rights, environmental. Of course, environment is very good, but the way it has become in political ways, we want this environment is here. We Africans, we are the ones who protecting environment. Our ancestors are the ones who protected this environment. They consume roots, leaves, fruits. They kept environment. And that's why if you go to some indigenous people such as Hadzabe in East Africa, there in Tanzania, you find that those people are still living in indigenous ways. They don't use chemicals, they don't use fertilizers for their actions. But right now, others are introducing these things, and then they're telling us, preserve environment, don't construct maybe roads, don't build railway. Your railway is going to distract environment. But those are the ones who own this mine. They use eruptions to extract mines. So I think the time has come, dear family, friends, to change. From what Captain Ibrahim Traore has said, we need to know that we need to implement. As young people, we need to wake up, to unite, to support the movement. And you are the one who will help this movement. You will help revolution. Do anything to make sure that you contribute positive to our mother continent, Africa. We want this continent to rise, and we need under our watch the continent to rise. We have betrayers, we have traitors, we have perpetrators, but let us not them keep us backward. Let us fight them. Let us telling them the truth and exposing them. We Africans, we are tired of being beggars. We are tired of crying like little babies outside there while we have everything. We have resources, we have everything. So we need as Africans to come together, to unite, to see how we can use our natural resources to develop our mother continent, Africa. To those who are fighting, please let us talk about peace. Young people in Sudan, stop what you are doing. Young people in Somalia, stop what you are doing. Young people in DRC, stop what you are doing. Those who are working for imperialists and terrorists, stop what you are doing. Start thinking about peace. Stop being used, manipulated by other people. We are tired. We want changes. The time is now. Thank you.
Thank you, Africa. Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make Africa great. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa.